Now, the objectives, or rather the initiatives that we have taken, again, it's the same as what FIFA and AFC has adopted: prevent, detect and respond in relation to the Malaysian League. Now, obviously AFC has the most lucrative club competition, which is the AFC Champions League. We have the Super League, which is Division 1, and then of course we have the Premier League, we have the President's Cup, we have the Youth League, we have the, and of course we have the FA Cup. So the competitions that are covered. In relation to good governance, and as what Hassan has mentioned earlier, you need rules, you need sound rules and regulations to combat this threat. I'm not going to run through these 4 primary areas because Hassan has already explained that. But I want to stress and emphasize on the relevant rules and regulations that we have, and in particular reference to the following. In regards to the statutes, to prevent all methods or practices, this is obviously the obligation of the association itself, which might jeopardize the integrity of matches or competition or give rise to the abuse of football. That is our objective. Over and above, our fleets or anyone who comes within our jurisdiction must observe the principles of loyalty, integrity and good sporting behavior. Now, another interesting point in regards to qualification of officials who actually represent the executive committee or any standing committee for that matter. There is a provision to disqualify such nomination on grounds of prosecution, on grounds that the official has been prosecuted, say for example for corruption, dishonesty, doping, forgery or fraud. So in other words, if we get a nomination for such an application, for that matter, they will be disqualified to be nominated. Now, in relation to FAM Disciplinary Code, we have Article 65 on corruption. Hassan has already mentioned that. Unlawfully influencing match results. Now, interestingly, we've also adopted the Code of Ethics. This is unique because when we speak about match manipulation, it actually impacts the results of the match. Now, what about conducts outside the field of play? For example, bribery to win or to gain votes, which has nothing to do in relation to influencing the results of the match. Now, most of you all would have heard the famous case of bin Hammam, who was actually prosecuted and convicted, imposed a life ban by the ethics committee. So what FAM has done is over and above match manipulation, we have gone on to introduce the Code of Ethics, and we have introduced certain combative provisions. Number 1, duty of disclosure, cooperation and reporting. For example, if anyone approaches an official or a player with the intention to influence or bribe, that person meaning the official or player must disclose that immediately, failing which the person in question can be brought before the ethics committee. Then of course we have offering, accepting gifts and other benefits. And this is unique in the sporting industry because every time you travel you get gifts. Am I right, Richard? Yeah, like for example, we're going to get gifts shortly, right? Now the question is whether I can receive those gifts. Now, obviously there is certain nominal value to that effect. I just want to share one experience I had at the AFC. In fact, when we went for an inspection to a particular member association, as I checked into my room, there was actually an iPad. An iPad. So the question is, do you accept the iPad or do you return it? Because it's a gift from the association. You see, obviously I return it back. Corruption is repeated again. Commission here is receiving commission. And of course, the Code of Ethics also extends to include protection of integrity of competitions and matches as well. Over and above, we have the Code of Conduct, which supplements the Code of Ethics. The Code of Conduct has 11 principles. For example, upholding integrity, upholding fair play, But the whole objective is to prevent any methods or practices which might jeopardize the integrity of matches or competitions. Again, you will notice that the word integrity is repeated throughout every articles and provisions of the relevant regulation. So going back to good governance again, what we do at FAM is we have entered into stakeholders, important stakeholders. We work closely with FIFA and AFC. Our integrity department works closely with the integrity department with the AFC. We have intel sharing. We also work closely with Interpol. We create a lot of awareness now. Bear in mind that we are not an enforcement agency. We deal with sports. So how much can we investigate? What kind of resources do we have? We have very limited resources. So the idea obviously is to work closely with local enforcement agency, and trust me, that's a big challenge. Okay? Now, so our primary objective, of course, is to create awareness. And what we do is we send our integrity officers at FAM for various courses. And FIFA together with AFC obviously has this program called Train the Trainer or Fact Finders. And later I'll explain to you how the procedure actually works in regards to proceedings itself. And then players and officials are usually given pre-briefing on the awareness of integrity and the dangers of actually match manipulation. And we do this every year without fail. So before the start of the Super League or Premier League, 1 month before the start of the season, we have various workshops for the players. So we address the issue, we highlight the dangers. Over and above this pre-briefing workshops, what we also do is we go around the regions to create awareness. So, and we have done this successfully through, again, our cooperation with the AFC through the AFC Kickoff program. And then of course, FM officials and stakeholders partnership. As I've mentioned earlier, associations, again, I'm speaking on behalf of association, and sometimes it's really frustrating because you are not the enforcement agency. Okay, so sometimes you can actually successfully bring a disciplinary proceedings against a player, official, full stop, period. But there is an element of criminality. There are third parties. There are criminal organizations who do not come within the football family. Therefore, certain rules or our football rules do not apply to this organization or individuals. Okay, so therefore we are not enforcement agencies. So sometimes, having prosecuted these cases against players and officials, what is the next step? The next step obviously is to pass that information to local enforcement agencies. So partnership is very, very important. And then, like what Hassan has mentioned, we have devised a lot of resources. We have booklets, pamphlets, video presentations on the dangers of match fixing. Monitoring and reporting. Recently, our Minister of Sports, Haider, has mentioned about the threat of match manipulation in our football, which is true. Threat is always there. Threat is always there for any sports for that matter, regardless of whether it's match manipulation or doping. But what are we doing about it? Now, obviously, AFC has engaged Sports Radar, a fraud detection system provider. FIFA has the early warning system. So what is the association of FM is doing about this? We are also in the midst of engaging a fraud detection system provider, and hopefully we will realize in our leagues to have a monitoring system that will monitor all our matches within the league. Then of course we have integrity officers. I believe Hassan has already mentioned most of the elements here. Now, in regards to investigation and sanction, as I've mentioned earlier, right, what we can do is obviously within our processes, within our own